Hi guys, it's Gav here. Welcome to this fantastic morning on the hillside. Bit misty today. So today I wanted to talk to you about prioritizing. It's a fantastic subject and very much connected to bushcraft and survival. You prioritize your survival needs, and it's great practice to connect the two. So I'm just going to share with you a set of 10 directions that I find very helpful in relationship to prioritizing. So the first one I've got is logical thinking, and it kind of starts before you prioritize anything. It's like you kind of have to think about what your direction is, what your vision is, what your focus is going to be, and to get into that you need to use logical thinking in relationship to who you are, what would be useful to other people as well. So that's the first one, and it's not always easy to get clear about what that is. A great exercise is to work with something physical, like a bolt, or even a knife, is to just look over it and just look where it was made, how the steel was made, where the steel came from, how it was mined out of the earth, where it was smeltered, where the handle was made, all these type of things. So it's connecting one thing to the next. And the word logical comes from word, which is the logi, which is very connected to this quality of manifesting through sound. So you can see how that's an important aspect of right prioritizing, because it gives you a kind of way of focusing. So one of the other things is actual remaining focused, or practicing focus as well. And you get that in that exercise with logical thinking, not to let yourself get distracted. And you can practice that at other times. The next one is that I've got down is the right action. It's very much connected to prioritizing. It's doing the right next step, the right thing, in connection to what you want to achieve, or what you consider success for you to be. So right action is the second one. I've got this picture here. It's quite good because it's connected to the Celtic cross, and that is prioritizing that focus, and then also connect it to Sagittarius, which is the archer, and he's ruled by Jupiter, which is the king of this kind of quality of right focus and right structure, a kind of living, happy structure. So that'd be one of the other things, would be joy and love in what you're doing. So it's not a kind of forcing quality. It's about embodying a kind of joy and love in what you're doing. It's a whole different thing. So you're not kind of, extremely disciplining yourself to get it right and chastising yourself when you get it wrong. So the third thing I've got down there is the being aware of the 80-20 principle, which is connected to an Italian philosopher, and it's very true actually. There's a great book as well called the 80-20 principle, and what it says is 20% of the stuff you do has 80% of the effect that you want, and the rest of it is kind of not really necessary. It's good to be aware of that and think about how it manifests in your life. One of the things that I really struggle with in relationship to it is quite often I notice is that the things that are really important to do, these are the things that I avoid. And I go, I'll save them till last because they're kind of like often the most enjoyable as well. So you've got to watch all these kind of mind games that you bring with you from your past, and be aware of that through your self-knowledge. So the fifth thing I've got here is goal setting. Is become good at the art of goal setting. And one aspect of that I don't think people that work with it are so aware of is quite often, right? This is connected to distraction. Quite often, distraction is actually can be, not always, quite often a distraction is like testing your strength of focus, but other times it's actually showing you something that you need to see that you wouldn't have arrived at if you hadn't been going down that path of doing that work. And the question is how do you develop that sense of what's truly valuable in that moment, whether it's what type of distraction it is. So with goal setting, it's good to be aware that you might be called to do something that's outside of that goal that you've set yourself, and it actually might be the right thing to do, and it's coming intuitively at you. So it's good to be aware of that kind of difference between a genuine distraction and a genuine kind of doorway it's open that wouldn't normally be open because you hadn't have been doing that work. So the other thing I've got here is perseverance. Is even when it gets boring, is to keep going, and that's a great meditation. Fantastic. I don't really need to say more about that. The other thing I've got is what I call right rhythm. Right rhythm can also be talked about as chunking. So it's like giving yourself a healthy rhythm in your work process and having a set amount of time so you've got a good structure, and that feeds into the last point I've got on this, which is, health is about being aware of your own bodily needs as well and keeping yourself healthy in the work process. So when you're prioritizing, it needs to come into play, but it's so much better if you use the right rhythm to work. And some people look at it as chunking, like working out a set amount of time that you've got to focus, and then giving yourself a break when that focus trails off. And the last thing I've got down is it's good to come back to is love. Love of what you're doing and cultivating that in what you're doing. So the whole thing becomes a kind of healthy meditation process, healthy physical meditation process. I just wanted to finish with a story connected to this, and the story is, over the other side of that loch is a graveyard and a church, and it's got some very old gravestones in it, and these old gravestones have got skulls on them, which means they're actually Templar graves. And the church is a bit of a ruin now, it's actually sealed off. But there's some amazing old yew trees, probably older than the church itself. And one thing, when you go over to somewhere like that, like, this question is, what do you prioritize in your being there? And it's great to connect into these beings that are there that have passed in somewhere like that, where it's so peaceful and silent, and they've got these yew trees there that are probably older than the church itself, and connect in with that kind of eternal quality. And one aspect of that is this quality of letting go, like relaxing into it, and then letting these the kind of wisdom of these ancient ancestors speak their truth to you. And that's a great way of prioritizing, is actually letting go instead of kind of forcing or worrying about not getting it right. If you can see what direction the story's giving you, it's this direction of letting go to come to this quality of truth, but also surrendering to come to this kind of determination of what you're going to do, letting go into what you're going to do. And it's a whole different thing from kind of prioritizing in a kind of forceful way. So I just wanted to leave you with that story. So I'll see you in the next video. Leave any comments or ideas and also there'll be a PDF with a clear description of each one of these keys to right prioritizing in the link below the video. So if you'd like a copy of that, click on the link, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye just now.